Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome to another edition of My Two Cents. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday.
Say it again. Say it again.
Happy Friday. This is a new show, new year, and guess who we got on the show tonight?
Who we got?
NFL great Fred Taylor.
Woo!
Or as we all know him, Freaky Fred.
Listen, that's getting me in trouble every time somebody says my wife look at me sideways. Every time somebody mentions that, you say, "Oh, that's the shit you promote." Can't y'all curse on it? Please, explicit.
Or Miss Markins, we can call him, AKA Mr. 5550.
That works. That'll work. That'll work. This is better than 100%. That works.
Right. Although Fred, you go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say you could be freaky Fred married.
Ooh.
Freaky Fred with your wife.
See, that's what I try to remind her that you get a pass for that. I got to get a pass for it. I'm 45 years old, married. I got all these damn children. Hey, that ain't happened just because it happens. You have to be
right.
Not immaculate conception.
Right.
You're not getting up. You ain't pulling out. Nah, I'm going all the way,
baby. Friday night.
Hey, he's speaking your language, Miles. He's speaking your language, Miles.
Yeah.
Speaking Gremlin's finest language.
Yeah, sound like some good entanglements going on. That's what it sounds like. Like some good entanglements. Fred,
welcome to My Two Cents.
Appreciate y'all. I know we've been trying to make it happen for a minute, but I do everything slow, Jessica, except run.
That's right.
Talk slow. I respond to text messages slow.
I thought he was gonna say something else.
I walk slow, but I run fast. I have to.
And I'm not mad at you, but what I can tell you to add to it, the reason why we are here today is because God made me consistent. I'm consistent. I'm gonna keep going at it. You told me to. You gave me the permission to, and I said, okay. Hey, I'm texting you. Come on, what's up? New year, let's go.
Right. That's a fact. I think I said on the last on our first drop of our new podcast, The Pivot, success, love, consistency.
Yes.
I also said success, love, speed, but that's another story. I'd rather be consistent, more consistent than doing things too fast. Then I got to backtrack, try to figure it out. But I'm gonna try to give you some consistency though.
I love it. We're glad to have you on, Captain. I got a ton of questions for Fred, but Captain, did you have something that you wanted to say?
I just remember the one show when from your show, I Am Athlete, and Cam Newton.
My former show.
Let me bring you up to speed, Captain. You know, because you are a pilot and you fly the world, and I'm not sure what continent you're in tonight. but Fred, he was with IAA. He launched his new podcast this week on Wednesday. It's called The Pivot, and we would like to know a little bit more about that, what led him there. But that was going to be my question, Captain. But you know how I dig you every week. I get at you, but I want to be polite and allow you to have the first question. But here we go again. Go ahead, Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So on the previous show, they had a guest.
IAA.
And they were talking and stuff. And the guest was enthralled by how Jacksonville had embraced Brother Taylor and how they had his picture up and everything. And he was like, man, Fred is that, he that N-word. And Fred was like, I'm still that.
Yeah, sometimes they don't give you, the people who know you get the right credit. But then you have a select group that, they try to put other people in front of you. But I digress. And let the real people that know, let them handle talking for me. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I said, that's that Belle Glade right there. I like that.
Oh, yeah, North City, baby. We deep in it.
Deep in it, baby. I like that. Like that.
Okay. Fred, tell us how you got to where you are right now with the pivot. I mean, what I can tell you is this group, we've been doing this for this is probably over our 100th Friday that we spent together. Started after the pandemic.
Congrats, for sure.
Hang out all the time, get drinks, used to do it, but the pandemic started. We, like the rest of the world, we all became fans of that other show that you were on. And I'm thankful to say that I was able to get to know you as a person and really bond with a lot of the things that you all were talking about, from being grown, because we want to be grown, but then grown comes with so many different levels.
Right.
Yeah. Mama didn't tell me.
And especially as being a Black person with those responsibilities. And that was one of the things that drew me into that show.
Right.
I enjoyed it. But what happened? And congratulations for the pivot, but what happened? What
just
happened?
like the rest of the world, when everything slowed down, Brandon drove over. We were neighbors. He lived on the other side of he used to live on the other side of the community. He came by my place. And he was like, "Hey, what you think about a podcast?" I was like, "Shit, I'm down. I get out the house, man. We can do something that's cool." So we said, "All right, that's quarantine dreams. Let's go make it happen." We got to it. We started taping, and we knew we didn't want it a straight sports show. We wanted it to be organic and evergreen, but also give back. So we said we was going to make it 70% evergreen, 30% sports. But we're going to keep it real, and we're going to try to push the culture. And, really, we gave people, something to look forward to every Monday at 12 o'clock. And, a few times you guys said the other show, I support I Am Athlete. I still scream it. I'll wear my shirt. I'm going to wear my shirt on one of our shows. Now, there's no beef or animosity there, just that our vision didn't align properly, because like anything else, if you're homeboys, and you go into a venture and it takes off, you're not, the business side didn't keep pace. So when it was time to go back to the table and really just work these numbers out, it had gotten too far ahead. And Brandon, who pretty much put the initial startup dollars in it, he felt that, all right, I assume majority of the risk, out the gate. So I should be the one to make all of the calls. Well, that's not how the show grew. Although he did make a lot of calls behind the scenes, but we all had input and ideas that we all shared. But again, as it took off, maybe 11 months into it, we sat down. I was like, look, because I was the only one that really expressed ownership. The other guys were just fine taking talent fees. So I was like, we got to talk, bro. We got to, before this keep going, let's get this contract done. I've let it gone too far to begin with. So I brought my sweat equity to the table because I deferred all of my talent fees. And the numbers that were presented, I'm like, nah, that's a little short. But we're going to make it work. We're going to figure this out, especially if we had some sort of relationship for at least about 15 years. Right. So I put my trust and respect on that, hoping and considering B was going to make the right choice and say, your numbers are worth at least 25% of everything, not revenue sharing. So here and there, he would get those numbers confused. Those terms confused. Equity and rev share. I think it's simple. Equity is ownership. Rev share is a form of partnership. Depends on what level, you break down the pie, you slice the pie. So I wanted to always participate in a long game, which is the ownership. But he was feeding me crumbs. I was like, nah. But I kept showing up. Like, we're going to figure it out. Yeah. And the more I showed up, the less it started to kind of go away. And Channing had his own situation in-house. So we just had a conversation, said, all right, what are we going to do? We can sit here and maybe not get rewarded in the long game if it sells for 20 mil to a Showtime or whoever it might, potentially could. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, we got to figure it out. So long story short, because I'm long-winded, we said, all right, let's jump ship. Let's do our own thing. We're going to pivot. let's pivot and make our own thing, man. And we got back. We regrouped with a few producers that had left due to, whatever circumstances that occurred. And we got with them. We stayed quiet because we wanted the effect of where have they been? Mm-hmm. There they go right there. If we had told people what we were doing, it waters it down. So we kept it away from a few people, and especially Brandon. Not being shady, but because it kills the effect, because he had a platform and a voice to say, oh, they over there doing something else. Right. They're gonna do their own podcast. And the anticipation from the subscribers, the viewers, the fans, if we don't come correct, then they're like, nah, that ain't it. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to come, drop Tuesday, Friday, which is what we just dropped today, the second episode, and go from there. If it fails, we did it our way and we took a shot. If it goes up, then that's what we expected it to do. So here we are.
Well, congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I love it. I love the pivot.
Yeah. We still support I Am Athlete, but I'm
100%. 100%.
It ain't the same though without you guys though. It ain't the same. So
that's a part of it. That's a part of it. But just going back to really where everybody has aspirations and visions, and sometimes they don't always align with the people that you come up with. You either gotta go left or you try to find a way to be content and figure it out. Right. But just after a few conversations and a lot of misunderstandings and us really just getting at each other, that was going to kill a friendship. Mm-hmm. We didn't necessarily want that to happen. Mm-hmm. And we just got off the phone, 30-minute FaceTime call, trying to figure it out because he felt the way, I felt the way. I told him, no, I'm going to support you. I'm going to root for you. I hope you can do the same for us. Absolutely. He's going to drop a show Monday and say what he has to say in response to what we said. But it's all good. No matter what he says, I'm going to take the high road. Channing's going to take the high road because there's three sides to every story.
Right.
Mine, yours, and perception of the listeners. So we can't change their perception. So we're going to take the high road regardless of what he says.
Fred, you said before that you and Brandon used to live in the same community. So now that y'all enemies, if you see him crossing the street, you're gonna try to run him over.
Listen, no. but that's the thing though. Right now, I never try to run him over, man. He'll sue me. Nah, I ain't trying to get sued. No. But that's the thing. Although we we had a cordial friendship. Right. And it was always from afar. I respected what he did on the field. And that you find that a lot in football, being teammates. After the season, guys go their own separate ways, don't even call each other a lot of the time. Right. And he was my neighbor. Brandon probably been in my house one time. I had never been in his house. And that's on us though. But we tried to meet in common grounds and try and make some stuff happen. And that's just business. We respected each other from that sense. But because a few things went down on the business standpoint, I can still respect you as a person, and not necessarily respect your business acumen if I disagree with certain decisions you make. So that's where we are, man. It ain't no love lost, though. I just will never do business with him. That's all.
I feel that way about Mark Zuckerberg. I use his products. I don't respect that dude's business though. I feel you on that, Fred.
Right.
Hey, Fred, what Miles was getting to is Miles is adjacent to my house. So he really claims to live in my neighborhood, but he doesn't live in my neighborhood. That's really what he's trying to get to. His little inside.
Oh, wow.
He's adjacent. He lives on the other side of the freeway. Which is
so he on the train track.
Right. On the other side of the track.
Other side.
On the other side.
Right. As a big fan of I Am Athlete, I actually took one of your sayings, Fred. I had the opportunity to speak to one of my partners' high school basketball teams when they came down to play in a tournament down here. And man, I watched I Am Athlete. Before I knew it, I had told them exposure leads to expansion.
Believe that.
So Hey, if you see me ever use that phrase, I have to pay royalties on it, or
Yes, you do.
can I pawn it off? Can I pawn it off like it's my own? Can I pawn it off like it's my own? Or
run with it? It's all love, because that's the message.
Amen.
Exposure leads to expansion. That's what we all need to know.
You don't give credit to that man, Miles, and stop.
Hey, we all showing love. Hey, you can say in the words of, I heard this once before, and this is why I heard it. It's all good. Sign off on it, but hell, I think I heard it somewhere. It's just I had a platform to repeat it because it makes perfect sense, especially in our community.
Yes,
really, that's why I said, because we lack resources and we lack, being exposed to certain things. So that's why I always want to say it.
Right.
Somebody said, make a shirt, huh?
Yeah.
You can make the shirt. It's all good. Just don't put it on the tag.
Hey. I don't want you to talk bad about me in a public forum. So if I do make a certain profit, I'll cut you in on the deal, brother.
No, it's all love. Just don't put it on the tag. As long as you don't try to brand it. But you can say it all day. Little tricky thing. See, people got to know the difference.
Shout out Maya's return. Maya only shows up when Gators are on My Two Cents.
That is true.
That is true. We see you, Maya. We see you. There's only
we got a Gator out there somewhere.
Coach Scott, we
have a lot of Gators that watch the show. But I want to go back to this, what you were saying. I don't think that there is anything wrong. And this is not what you said, but this is my interpretation, just because. Remember that conversation that we had out at the stadium? We were sitting outside. Well, like the situation that we were talking about, that had already happened to me with that person. And I continue to do business with someone who I know is not right. But when I know that I have the ability to bring in revenue to my company, I do it, but I do it understanding who I'm doing business with.
Oh yeah, face value.
Yeah.
You put the value on their face and you handle it accordingly.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and that's why we still can coexist.
Correct.
I know who I'm dealing with now. You showed yourself. So, and again, we had a conversation. If it was anything else, I'd have probably been like, man, you screwed me out of, XYZ. I'm supposed to participate over here. But because I know who I'm dealing with, it makes it so much easier for me. And we ain't got to go have drinks. We ain't got to do all this extra stuff.
Right.
I know what I'm dealing with, and that's that.
And then when they steal an idea that you may have and make profit off of it, sometimes I've stepped
She's talking
back
about you, Miles. She's talking about you.
Said about it. Mokita, that's not funny.
Mokita, you are. Yes.
I don't want to steal it. I just want to borrow.
Let me just finish this thought. I go back to that movie. I don't even know the name of it, but it was supposed to be about Facebook. And the two guys, they went and tried to complain about their idea being stolen. And he was like, you are Harvard students. Come up with another idea.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I have to keep that in my back pocket, that when I feel as if someone has taken some sort of intellectual property from me because you're in my circle and I shared it, probably shouldn't have, but I shared it.
Social network.
Thank you, Millennial William. We appreciate it. Been on the show
tonight.
That is a nice picture, William.
Not to be on, but it's just God gave you one idea, he can give you another idea. God has elevated you on one platform, he can elevate you on another platform, which leads me to my next question. The pivot, what can we expect?
Really, and I'm gonna say it in 4 words, I guess. I can curse, right? Can I curse?
Yeah, go.
Well, you already have.
I mean, we already been canceled, so you're good.
I know. I'm gonna sum it up though. Same shit, different show. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But we're gonna try to be consistent and stay true to what the message is. And we'll expound on a lot of different topics and things and try to provide transparency. But what we promise to do is we're not trying to, execute a brand where we're bringing in other shows, and we're not chasing a bag. where we watered down the actual product and are, you know, pushing away the core fan base. So we're gonna talk about what we talk about, and really that's it. Through our experiences, the same thing.
You preaching,
all that stuff. So it's all good.
That's good. You know what you said?
Fred preaching. You preaching, Fred.
You said staying consistent. That's what you said. Yeah. We're going to be consistent.
Right.
We're going to be consistent. We're not going to lure you in and then switch up and not be true and authentic.
But you know what? So
right.
There's a time and a place for it. You know, like you got to realize who your consumers are and you know who your core fan base are. You know, because they're supporting you from the beginning. They help build up your platform, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you know, we're talking about growth, but you can't move too fast.
Right.
And we tried to tell B, look, bro, I Am Woman. It was premature, right? It was too soon. And then the way you aligned it up was nobody recognizes these women. So it's okay for them to have a show, but when you put them under our umbrella, now you're pulling people away, and there's a certain expectation that comes with that based on where we were. And then you implement I Am Athlete LA. Yeah. Now you're taking away, you know, viewerships in our fan base. So the people wasn't ready for that sort of a push and trying to build a brand. You know, let us service it. You know, let us service the platform for 2 or 3 years. We get 1 million subscribers. Then you pivot and do something else, maybe. Or when you start seeing our numbers come down, boom, you hit them with something else. But when you start going so fast to try to get a brand out there so you can package it, you know, with, you know, the gyms and everything else that I am actually rooting for, then what happens, he's creating a media company along with fitness brand. And that's a hell of a combination, because that's what we are in this day and age. But you got to slow down. You know, it's a way to do things. You got to slow down. He sees $100 million in 3 to 5 years, and that's okay. But you gotta crawl a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's growth though. But we want to be consistent because we don't aspire to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We just want to talk and have fun and listen to Channing say something crazy and, you know, just get back. So that's what it is.
So it wasn't just Channing. It wasn't just Channing.
I know. But he the wild card though, because he don't know what's coming out his mouth. Yeah.
You know what? I don't think we really. I took Channing for granted until he got sick and he was gone.
That's right.
Like, and do you realize he was, you know, the X factor of the show once he was gone. Then when he came back, like we missed that.
Right. Yeah. He's just a good old fashioned country boy that he gonna give it to you raw.
Right.
You know, he ain't gonna hold no strings. He's just gonna give it to you, whether you like it or not. He's definitely unbiased. He gonna say some stuff. We did a show in Vegas last week that we probably can't even use. Like we might have to just chop it up and put a few clips on Instagram on our social, but we can't. It's just hard to edit what he was doing, man.
You never know what he's gonna say. He might say he might come out from the back. He coming from the outside. He's a thief sneaking into his house, and his wife's inside in the kitchen or something crazy.
The thing is, he does that on his radio show on 560. I mean, when I listen to him on 560. I mean, he comes up with these stories, the NFL stories, and all the stories that he tells. And it's, you know, I'm driving, I'm about to crash. I'm laughing so hard, you know. He comes out of left field with all kinds of stuff. And, you know, it's just hilarious to hear him talk.
Right.
You know
he's something else.
He's something else. He pulled my trigger when he started talking about HBCUs.
I see how you segue that up. I like that.
Yeah.
Let me show it. Take us there. I'm with you.
Hold on, real quick.
Captain,
another segue.
Go, Captain.
Segue. Being a Gator, our father was a Gator, and he integrated University of Florida. Mm-hmm. And so, being a pioneer of integrating University of Florida, to this day, they still have not recognized him as one of the pioneers that integrated Florida and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so he paved the way for the likes of yourself, Channing, all the other greats.
Right. And I don't know that. I think when we saw, you know, not necessarily Chris Leak, but although Chris Leak is black.
They might not catch that reference, Fred, but I know
another conversation, Fred.
Right, that is another conversation. But
very much another conversation.
You know, Cam Newton should have been that guy. He was just as good as Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Cam, you know, his acts of immaturity, you know, they didn't want to take the time with him because they had, you know, someone there that could go out there and do certain things that Cam can do. But Cam could have won the same amount of national championships as Tim Tebow in a different fashion.
Absolutely.
Because they're two different types of people with different personalities.
Absolutely.
But the talent, the same playing field, if not better. But to see that school land and respect the black quarterback or allow those black guys to play that position, they started to make a little headway. And this past year, you know, we have 2 black quarterbacks out there. And now you kind of peek over and say, damn, 15 years ago, that wasn't happening because the boosters weren't going to let it happen. So that's where all of the power come from, and people making decisions from their grave. That's what a lot of people don't know. These are not escrows, but these
trust.
A lot of different trusts, and I just can't think of the other term right now. Endowments. People are making calls from the grave that's been gone 10, 15 years ago. But the Bull Gators are saying, you know what? We want to win. We want to enjoy this. We want to be able to be talked about and celebrate like these other schools. So by any means necessary, let's make it happen. Whether we got to get coaches out, get them in, we're going to find a way to try to win. But hopefully they can figure it out. Just like I'm hoping that HBCUs can, you know, get their resources correct so they can get a lot of the big names. Like Deion flipped the kid Travis Hunter, who Channing said would never happen.
Exactly.
So he apologized. It was a little sideways. You know, he moved the goalpost when he apologized because he added but it was an attempt. It was a good attempt.
There is no but. It's changing.
Exactly.
I say the same thing.
There is no but whatsoever.
Right.
I've been preaching that for years.
Right.
My brother can tell you, Gramblin's Finest can tell you, I've been saying that for years. They would just go to the HBCUs. We ain't got to deal with none of this because the HBCUs will embrace them and not tolerate them.
Right. Right. And they got the right man, I think. When you look at Deion, right, and how he's always been prime time. He embraces the limelight. He embraces, you know, the spotlight. You know, he just really goes out there and he's a voice. You know, you couple that with social media, you know, and you know, and the companies that he's been involved with. You know, you got you know, Under Armour that can support the school. Not Bleacher Report, but Barstools. You know, Barstools has a voice, and they're allowing him to just go out there and they're putting a light on it. Some coaches don't like it because it's non-traditional. You know, and a lot of these big colleges don't like it because they're saying, you know, you're not valuing these kids. Well, no, y'all been disrespecting kids and their families for centuries. You know what I'm saying? For decades. You know, my math be bad. 55-50, my math be bad. for decades. But here we are, man. You know, hopefully with Deion there, with Eddie George at TSU, you know, Hugh Jackson, Grambling State. Hopefully they can figure it out, man, and get these parents to understand.
Bubba McDowell
I was just ready to say Bubba McDowell was just hired at Prairie View.
So,
really?
So hopefully they
can
create a change.
Yeah, but you know what?
We can't forget touchdown Willie Simmons at Florida A&M University.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Deion is an anomaly. He's got so many avenues.
He has not, Makita. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to be so good. I mean, I mean, Captain even said the N word instead of saying the real thing. I mean, I don't even know who I'm on the show.
They're their best behavior, Fred, because you showed up. Any other time,
listen,
I'm always on my best behavior. So
when I come back around, so I'm not really I'm gonna really
when we start talking about this National White Privilege Day, I'm about to get loose now. Whenever y'all ready, let's get it.
Run it.
Oh, the verdict, though. The verdict.
I don't know who I'm on the show with tonight. Oh my!
Fred,
we haven't told Miles not saying no big words. We have no reason to drink.
We got a whole glass here.
Miles says a big word. I'll take a drink. Miles is just over there, just sitting, all being fandy.
No,
I mean, come on, man.
I mean,
because man, like
I'll drink to that.
We have had these opportunities. So, like, I just you said earlier with regards to your departure from I Am Athlete that it kind of grew too fast, and then you said that the pivot is not trying to accomplish what happened at I Am Athlete. And my question is, do you think that what happened at I Am Athlete, was that organic or was that planned? And my second follow-up question that would be, if that happens at the pivot, then what lessons do you take with you to kind of manage that kind of growth or success?
That's right, William.
Thanks, William.
Pontificate.
Really, what I want to jump to and say just off the top, that ain't gonna happen at the pivot. I have no interest in NASCAR, first and foremost. None.
He started with that NASCAR.
Listen,
I didn't want to bring it up, Fred.
I showed up as a sport, and I was willing to learn.
Right.
As we went, because they said, okay, this is what we're doing. I said, all right, I can do that. I can go and hit Google right here. What I need, I'm asking questions to the phone. If I don't know, I'm gonna study up, boom, I'm gonna verse it, and I'm gonna stay off the camera. I know how to stay off the camamera.
Fred, you was quiet on them episodes, bro. I was watching. I said, Fred, you was quiet.
Listen, I observe everything. I ain't loud. Them loud dudes. Hey, Captain, them loud niggas. They get in trouble.
Please don't start.
Listen, they get in trouble. So I sit back and I observe everything. I'm gonna take my notes like, all right. So then I interject, right? And then I'm like, okay, so you sound crazy. Let me try and clean you up. But I know we don't plan on doing that. So we don't plan on doing that. We just plan on being a podcast that can go out and just have a conversation. We ain't trying to do nothing else. We want to sell some merchandise. We want to have some conversation. And really, that's it. We ain't trying to market a gym. We ain't trying to market, we're going to talk about health and fitness because that's important, especially in our community. But we ain't selling no gym memberships. And I'm not knocking Brandon.
Right.
But that was a part of everything because the podcast became a marketing arm, which is a genius idea for his gym. It's just unfortunately we couldn't participate in the revenues that came from the gym. Mm-hmm. And then there were times where he didn't try and maximize, the monetization of the platform so we can all eat together. So so we're not trying to do that. We're gonna keep the main thing, and really just we got a podcast. That's it.
Who said that? Keep the main thing the main thing. I know you just said it, but
that's Coach Belichick, right?
Belichick likes to say business.
He
likes to say business as business is being done. That's Belichick. That's what he likes.
That sounds like some Bishop Don Magic Wine, actually.
Pinky off of Friday.
I know, right? I don't even know where I heard it, but it makes perfect sense.
I like it.
That's what a lot of the fans try to tell us too. Like, nah, we didn't come over here for that.
No, it's real. That's honest.
And sometimes not everybody's gonna agree with the decisions that you make. But B's mindset was, this is my business. This is what I'm passionate about, and this is the message I'm trying to get out. And you make those moves. That's a risk. DP. That's the risk you run, right? So it just didn't. That wasn't aligned with what we originally signed up for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you got to think about the success. The success of the show was, first of all, where do you see 3 or 4 black men on a show talking some real grown man stuff, but also not only about sports, but giving your insight about, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, whatever. Right. You just did not see that. And it was a nice formula that was awesome.
It was, man. One of my favorite episodes was the one with Wale Agunlie, and he talked about the financial capacities and what she was dabbling in, and how
Tell him, Mokito.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, we were doing that before they came out, but okay, if you don't remember,
and how he had transitioned into the financial realm after his playing days. Like that was one of my favorite episodes of that show.
Yeah, no, while they did good on that episode, it was a lot of transparency, and the message was solid. Because again, coming from our community, our demographic, majority of us, we don't come from households that, know how to budget or manage dollars. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get to the next dollar. And that's always a struggle. And I firmly believe that with, looking at these universities, the majority of their players are us, people that come from these demographics. A small percentage might come from successful black households with their parents are together, but a lot of them come from single family households. I was raised by my grandmother. My mom, when she was young, had me at a young age, she had to go out there and try to help my grandmother, had to make money, work to help my grandmother take care of us. And I really believe, and I think I said it on the show, that, you go into college and they tell you ENC 1101 is mandatory subject you got to take, right? Let's and that's fine. But why can't we make money a mandatory subject or make it part of the initial curriculum? Easy finance class, just teach us the terminology, teach us the definitions. So when we're having these conversations with, people at whatever point, we're able to communicate, because that's what it's all about. So that was a solid episode. Wale, like I say, he's doing good. UBS took a chance on him. He's a smart guy. He's really smart. He's done well with his money. And Wale, I thought he was gonna come on there and start talking some of that African shit. But he was solid, man. He was good.
We're not participating in the curriculum when they're putting the curriculum together, right? Let's start there. But then I think it's built for us to be worker bees. It ain't for the really designed for us to go out and be entrepreneurs or talk about businesses or money. Yeah, we're supposed to be out in the programs to sit in class for 8 hours and then get done and work for 8 hours. And
that's where we come in as mentors to the next generation from the things that we learn that we have to pass down to them. Because, the previous generation, even though we came from a 2-parent household, a lot of things weren't really taught to us as far as how to finance, how to balance the checkbook, how to do certain things, what have you.
Right.
And so going forward, now that we learn these things, then it's up to us to pass that down to the next generation, mentor the young kids and what have you, and show them, okay, this is a bank. Most people, house costs $200,000 or $300,000. People ain't got that, so they got to go to a bank and borrow the money. But in order to do that, you got to have credit score, yada yada yada, and go through the whole financial jargon in which you were talking about. And then, but take it further to establish generational wealth and a legacy by investing. So right now they can do Acorns, they can do what the other one, Stash or something along those lines, and
E-Trade,
grow E-Trade or what have you, and watch it begin to grow. I mean, just do $25.
No, elementary school, Maya.
That's very true.
Here in Miami-Dade County, Dr. Gallen, Vice Chair for Miami-Dade County Public Schools, has implemented curriculum that delineates all of financial learning. You know that, right? It's going to Yeah.
All right, delineates. Okay.
Oh, y'all drinking to delineate?
Yeah, because Miles is sleeping at the wheel. That's why,
Yeah.
Because Miles is being Miles being what's he being again, Jessica?
Sandy.
You can't ask any more questions, Miles. No more questions.
Yeah, Miles talking about, and then my second question is
my bad. I wasn't trying to listen. I wasn't trying to step on the moderator's toes.
Hey, Roy, I should jump on him the way he was jumping on me during the game show. Man, this your thing. What you doing?
Right. What you doing, Steve?
What you doing, Miles? Use the big words.
I apologize, sir. My bad.
Oh man,
you apologize
now. I
before. You never see right. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Hey Miles, so you like me on the show, huh? So you like, it seems that you're like me on the podcast. They pick on me.
Listen, it don't take for me to be on air to mess with Miles. I call Miles off air too. Okay.
Right. Why you don't just walk over to his crib though?
It's a long walk, Fred. It's a long walk.
It's adjacent. It's adjacent.
Fred.
So Miles be back with just stealing all of the plans. He be
it's close enough to get the Wi-Fi, but far enough to be in a different tax bracket.
Right. So
Fred,
your FaceTime stay shitty, Miles. You can't get a strong enough signal.
Man. Yeah, man.
Solid FaceTime.
See, I'm a little brother, Fred. So I've been tortured a lot by Hampton's finest. So I know how to dish it out, but better I know how to take it. But I know how to reciprocate it too. I know how to take it.
Yeah.
I'll take reciprocate.
Hey,
I'll take reciprocate.
Don't get it twisted. You see E-Dub, Hampton's finest, and Grambling. You could ask just be in there, but you fight the bean, you got to fight the whole burrito now.
Right.
You better know it. Look, you better know it.
Miles said next week he's gonna be back.
He'll be back.
He's wide open.
He'll be back.
Yeah, and look, William said he's gonna torture us.
Listen, Fred, don't have a scandal between now and next week because Miles will be all over it talking about it.
Hey, you gotta expect that.
I'm telling you now, Fred, you get yourself into an entanglement. I'm all over that now. I'm all over that now.
This year has started out already on the wrong leg. I'm trying to reel it back in, man. Pump the brakes. Pump them brakes, man.
I don't know where
my former boss unfollowed me, man. So I'm kind of sad about that.
Oh God!
Wow.
He'll be back.
Right.
We'll figure it out. If it does, it does. If not, then I know he'll be peeking at my stories to see how I pivot doing.
Of course.
Probably got a fake name.
Right.
Listen, hey, I got one too.
Funny. Look, we are running out of time, and it's two very quick topics and then they're not quick at all.
They're not.
My
Let's
goodness.
get it.
Antonio Brown. I mean, the story just continued to unfold over the week. Antonio, everyone saw him rip off his jersey, exit the field.
Exit stage left.
My dog went full Dade County on him, boy.
Then there was reports
full
that,
Dade County.
You hit it on the head.
The media put out about mental illness. I was thankful for that because I thought it was getting ready to go a whole nother way. And then we revisited the famous hit. Who was the person that hit him? Name started with a B?
Vontez Burfict.
Right.
Okay. Well, I said it wrong. But yeah, he was hit. Then we talked about the concussion and all of the things that were not the same. And then, oh boy, released a statement.
Right.
And in his statement, he talked about his ankle injury and that all of the coaching staff were full aware of what was going on with him. And then after he released the statement, a few hours later, Tampa releases him.
Right. So they're going to get sued, but keep it going. See, that's the thing though. we can all, we're so quick to judge, but that's the environment we're in, especially with social media and how news spread. Years ago, before social media, things will figure out itself, right? And the messages, news travels so fast, and we can see everything like that. I don't condone what he did. He at the end of the day, he quit. Regardless of his frustrations, those antics are unacceptable, and he can get fined for conduct detrimental. I think that's one of the things that can happen in this environment. He's going to be a meme, and people are going to remember that until he's no longer here. And when he's gone, they're going to still be posting that and bringing it up, on highlights and films and all that other stuff. But we're so quick to judge as a society, and a lot of people were throwing the mental thing out because that's the thing to do now in society. Society is so weak. We never heard of people do have problems. Don't get me wrong. We all dealing with something. But I started dealing with anxiety back in 2017. Every time I breathed, felt like I was going to die or have a heart attack or something. So I had my own situation going on back then, but I learned how to control it. But as a society, we want to blame everything on, mental illness. And not to say it doesn't happen, but we're so quick to do that when we're not a professional that can actually diagnose these. And sometimes they misdiagnose things, because they're human, and that's what we all are. I don't think nothing wrong with AB mentally. I think he's entitled. I remember AB when he was a young, hardworking, fresh out of college. He was grinding, work out with me at a gym down here in Miami, grinding, asking me questions like a sponge, right up under me, whatever. OG, what I got to do, like this, that, whatever, just absorbing everything. He goes to Pittsburgh, and he has success. And he was the same. He was in that pocket, and then Pittsburgh gave him the first big payday. Things slowly started to change, and like a lot of people, I always go back now when I look at AB. I talk about, Tupac. Tupac was Brenda Had a Baby, poetry, and all that stuff. Until he played fucking Bishop and Juice, he turned to Tupac. And that's what I look at when I think about AB. When he got that check from Pittsburgh, that first contract, I say, man, okay, I've seen this before. And then it got worse and then worse. And then entitlement came around. And he was like, you know what? I'm done over here. I need to be somewhere else. I'm out of Pittsburgh. Then the stuff happened in Oakland, where, boom.
He wasn't in long enough. He wasn't in Oakland long enough for something to happen.
No. Enough happened in that short amount of time. We're talking $50 million. We're talking $50 million. That was enough for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Look, deal me my deck. I'm gonna play the hand that I got. I ain't caring about nothing else. I'm gonna smile with you. I need to take your daughter to a bar mitzvah owner, man. I'm taking her over there. Like whatever I need to do, I'm gonna get this 50 million and take care of my family. I don't care what happened over there, but I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get them dollars. So I think that that entitlement, he sort of misled himself. And then going down to what happened in Tampa, teams do try and pressure you to get out there. Tampa, they were in the game. They were struggling to close out the Jets, who they thought they would beat. They probably didn't think they was going to need AB the whole game. Yeah, they bring up the incentives and all of that. Even the more reason for him to want to play, to get that $1 million, especially after he, crapped on the $50 million that he left on the table or he gave back to the Raiders. Yeah. So he had incentives to play. The text messages shows that he wasn't healthy enough to play. Right. And then the conversations are there. The conversations were there. And, so again, it goes back to show you that we shouldn't be so quick to diagnose someone and put, he has a headache. He's mentally, confused and all that stuff. So I never said he had a mental issue. I feel like, and I said it on the show that we dropped today, AB knows exactly what he's doing. AB, I think he plays chess. he does love the spotlight. Don't get me wrong on that. Most of the receivers are the ones that are issues and crybabies. But that's what it is. It's usually the crybabies. But I don't think he has a mental issue. And if he does, let's just say he does. They call it CTE. We can't diagnose that when nobody's living. You got to wait till they're gone, and then you say, "Oh, that was his problem right there. He was suffering." The patterns do kind of push you in that direction, but he'll have moments where he's perfectly sane. So I won't say he has a mental issue. I like the fact that Brady came to, as a friend to say, "Okay, this is where you are." But I also saw what AB said today. Nah, Tom Brady need me. Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. He wouldn't like AB.
That part.
Like don't like he vouched for you. That's the reason you have a ring. That's the reason you had.
Yeah, the reason why he was able to play.
Yeah, correct. You came down the period.
So Tom is sincere. I was a teammate in New England with Tom for 2 years, so he's sincere in those comments. He's a great person, so I believe everything he said when he made those comments. And I think AB should be, embrace of it and allow these people to come in his life and try his best to get rid of the yes men and the people that won't, that won't pull him in and say, let's have this conversation, man, because you're losing it. I know what you're doing. I don't think you're mentally cuckoo, but you're losing it, and people don't respect that.
I don't think he's mentally cuckoo. And as a clinician, I am a licensed mental health counselor. So I think sometimes we have to.
Can I do virtual check-ins with you? Because
you may. Yes, I'll give you my number before we get off. That's not a problem.
I'll text you her information. Before you go down that line, Dr. Battle, before you do that, we have 7 more minutes, and we're on the anniversary of something this week that I just really would love to touch on before we leave the show tonight, and that is the insurrection. That was on the 6th of January.
Yes.
And there was a lot of discussion about it. I would like for Senator Bullard just to bring us up to speed on what happened and where we are today with that.
I'm sure Teef got thoughts on this too. But a year ago,
we all do.
A year ago yesterday, as Teef pointed out, it was National White Privilege Day.
That's the white collar.
You had thousands of people storming the Capitol. You had people that were put in, you had members of Congress that were put in danger. My brother-in-law is a Capitol police officer. He was put in danger. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of things. And I think the bigger issues over the last 365 days, people have tried to act like it didn't happen, including members of Congress who were ducking and hiding, who were scared for their lives, include members of Congress who were text messaging people, who were rioting who were insurrectionists, including the former president of the United States, who basically incited the riot to begin with, have all tried to conspire to say none of this has happened. And so I think it's important for all of us to make sure that every year on January 6th, we remind the world that this happened and it was white supremacy was the thing that did it. This notion of entitlement, which is going to be Miles's new E word for 2022. That notion of entitlement that these folks believed in their heart of hearts that they could do whatever they wanted to do. And right now, the FBI has, 1,000 people under investigation that they're looking forward to. I think there should be thousands more because somebody posted a very, I think, important message yesterday that, a lookout for somebody who gets arrested for a drug deal can get 10 years in prison. Mm-hmm. And the highest sentence that's been given out to people that were actively involved, it took over the Capitol, has only been 4 years. 4 years. So the idea that there's thousands of people who looked out while crimes were committed, and that those folks somehow don't get to bear the brunt of the justice system when brothers and sisters who, get caught holding the bag, get caught doing all kinds of other things, and end up doing 25, 30 years or life in prison for these minor crimes, lets you know how imbalanced the system is.
And those same people
Congresswoman Waters was on, and she was discussing the fact that we've got to hold them accountable and to press on their necks.
Yes.
That the time should equal the crime. She was on KJLH on yesterday evening and encouraging that the group of people who were listening to just stay encouraged and hold them accountable because it's not right. Any closing thoughts? Because we have two more things to just talk about before we get out.
Go ahead, T.
Go ahead, T.
No, it's cool. No, I'm gonna let her go ahead to the next topic. You only got 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, we as Black people trying to forget that. We won't ever forget it. You know, you got to be able to recognize it, but at the same time, I think you know, it you call it entitlement. It did give them a sense of entitlement, especially down here where I am, or even when I'm in North Florida, Jacksonville, which is really South Georgia, and you know how they get down sometimes in certain areas. So I see it all the time, man. It's unfortunate. I get attacked, you know, for being a Democrat. But again, you know, that day was an embarrassment on what they call the greatest country on the face of the planet. So they got to figure it out. It was total BS. They got to find a way to figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Kanye's been in a relationship for 6 days, and
it's ridiculous.
Are we talking about this?
Speaking of mental health concerns, go ahead.
Right. Baby girl, if you know anything
Fiji gonna give y'all.
Fiji
ain't paying no bills around here. That little integrated marketing right there. Fiji ain't paying no bills. Come on, Jessica, you slipping.
DMX would never act like this. DMX would never have acted like this.
And remember, his legal name is now Ye.
Belinda.
He's just
She
Ye.
better run in the opposite direction.
DMX,
very fast. We talked about running fast early.
Hey man, hey look. Come on now.
He's smiling more though.
But look here, man.
He's smiling more. It's crazy.
More than
man. The
More than he had been.
You're right, Mo. She gonna enjoy the ride, all right.
She said lots of gifts.
And I don't mind, baby.
The Kardashians have the blueprint on bringing down black men. Why can't he have the blueprint on bringing down white women?
Thank you, Lateef. Anybody that
Kardashians got a blueprint on bringing down black women. Why can't he have a blueprint on bringing down white women? Go ahead,
he's not bringing them down. He's gifting them things.
Oh boy!
First of all, I don't trust anybody who wears galoshes full time. Let's start. Wearing rain boots.
She's gonna enjoy the ride, all right. You better believe that. She's gonna put on the ride. You better believe that.
Yeah, she is.
Y'all sound jealous.
Okay, Miles. Thank you.
To Sidney Poitier, who passed away.
Miami
Pride,
born.
baby. Bahamian Pride.
I was
Bahamian
just about to say,
Pride, baby.
one time for the Korean Massive.
Yes.
One time.
Bahamian Pride, baby.
Yes. Happy birthday to Blue Ivy. Can you believe that she is that tall?
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I mean, or is Beyonce mama that short? We don't know.
They definitely did say that her mom is 5'5".
Wow.
So, yeah.
That means we probably got about a good 40, 50 years left and we out of here.
Yeah.
The kids will let you know.
Yeah. I don't understand how that happened. And then last, Rachel Nichols. She settled.
Skip. Keep it moving.
Oh, Betty White.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace.
The verdict.
Thank God. They needed it.
The
sentencing, not the verdict.
The sentencing.
Okay, well, Senator, go ahead and say it.
Well, no,
Ev gotta say that.
Got
we got this.
Say it, Ebony. Say it.
Gotta let it be known.
Say it.
The men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery got life sentences.
Life with no parole.
Life no parole for the McMichael brothers. For the McMichael, and then life with parole for the guy who
Ebony singing. We couldn't hear you, but yeah, that part.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this: it's hard to celebrate what is right.
Thank you guys for joining us, Fred. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. Appreciate it.
Call me, Fred.